This story comes to us from sacurrent.com. First time I did an editorial on this county, I said, going to Bexar County. And a whole bunch of people jumped in and corrected me and said, yo, dude. So now I know that we're going to Bexar County, Texas. Bexar County prosecutors this month dismissed felony charges against a fired San Antonio police officer accused of kneeling on a suspect's neck during a 2019 incident. In March of 2020, a Bexar County grand jury indicted former officer Michael Brewer on charge of unlawful restraint risking serious bodily injury, which is a third-degree felony. However, the Bexar County District Attorney's Office this month opted to dismiss the charges, according to KSAT. Now, the charges against Brewer stemmed from an incident in which he and fellow officer Andre Vargas responded to a Southside disturbance call. Shout out to Southside Slacker. He's a YouTuber. Go ahead and check out Southside Slacker. Brewer was later terminated over how he handled that call. Brewer's body cam footage showed him subjecting suspect Matthew Anthony Garza to unnecessary physical violence by pressing his knee into Garza's neck, KSAT reports. That story also noted the suspect was already handcuffed and appeared to provide no resistance.
Michael Brewer is charged with unlawful restraint. This is footage of Brewer back in 2017 during a Southside fire rescue. The indictment alleges back in November of 2019, Brewer restrained Matthew Garza without consent and exposed him to risk of serious bodily injury.
San Antonio police records also accused Vargas, his partner, of using unnecessary force during the arrest when he lifted Garza by his arms while he was handcuffed. Investigators also said Vargas' use of a stun gun to subdue Garza far exceeded the force necessary to make the arrest. Both Brewer and Vargas were fired in 2020 following a San Antonio Police Department internal affairs investigation. However, only Brewer faced criminal charges stemming from the incident. I'm surprised that the San Antonio Police Department fired him. I am. I'm surprised that the police chief, Chief McManus, didn't go, well, if the guy would have just complied, it would have been over in 2 minutes. If he would have just let them put a knee in his neck and he would have been done in 2 minutes, he could have went on to jail. Some of you have been following me a while. We'll get that. If you don't, search San Antonio Police Department, Chief McManus, if he would have only complied.
All right, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna go drive to the apartment. We're gonna see if she IDs her. Nope, that's not how this works.
It's not going anywhere. You're legally detaining me.
I am legally.
Yeah, so I'm staying right here then.
No.
If I'm being detained, I'm staying
right here. Do you want to be released today or not?
I'm going to be released.
Okay, well, I'm going to stay right here. I just need to get you ID.
Right here.
I just need to get you ID.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yes, you are. So I don't want to have to do this for you. All we had to do, drive over there.
All you had to do was leave me the fuck alone.
Why do you say that?
Because
you match a description of something.
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
You want to look at my key card?
Yeah. I'm sure I match the description.
Okay, well, you're going to get in the car. Come on.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not getting in the car. I didn't do anything. I'm not.
Come on. Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car. Quit making this difficult.
We told the person we stopped that we were going to take him back to be ID'd by the complainant, and he refused to get into the car. So they explained to him why they stopped him. They explained to him why they needed to take him back, and he just would refuse to cooperate. So they forced him into the car. In the process of doing that, they were both kicked by him. They eventually got him back there, and it was not the right person. This could have all ended within 2 minutes after it started if he had told what his name was.
That's how SAPD says Matthias Omitu landed in jail, facing 2 felony counts of assaulting an officer.
Again, you're right. He was under no legal obligation at that point to identify himself. But had he done so, he would have been off and about his business in 2 minutes. It would have been done. But the officers did have an obligation to try to get him identified or not as the perpetrator of that domestic assault. An incident that did not have to occur.
Brewer's defense attorney, Ben Cifuentes, filed a writ seeking a dismissal in the case earlier this year, arguing that evidence obtained at the time of the incident did not match the charges eventually filed against his client. It's unclear whether the filing was the reason behind the DA's decision to drop the charges. However, the 2020 charge wasn't the first time Brewer was accused of using excessive force against a suspect, as reported by The Current. 4 years before San Antonio Police Department fired the officer, he was reportedly involved in the death of a 41-year-old man whom police said was having a mental health crisis. Yeah, when you're having a mental health crisis, the police are the last people you want to see. Believe me. After the man, Ernesto Careman, tried to punch another San Antonio PD officer, Brewer repeatedly used a taser on the suspect, who subsequently went into cardiac arrest, according to police records. Careman died shortly after paramedics tried to resuscitate him. So Brewer is basically an out-of-control cop that just does what he wants. And hey, if the guy dies, well, he should have complied, and it would have been over in 2 minutes. Except this time, the chief didn't agree, and Brewer got fired. I wonder if he'll get his job back now that the charges have been dropped. Or maybe he'll be a cop in Fort Worth or Austin, somewhere in Texas, right?